Welcome to Reflections of Love and Light. Today, Richard and I are going to talk about relationships.
Hello, everybody.
So, what would you say, Richard, would be the key points of a good relationship?
Let's see. I would say honesty, communication, and being loyal, faithfulness.
I agree. So, what about being honest? What are some things that you could be honest about?
I think that you should tell the truth and be truthful with your partner. I think that that's very important that you tell them what's going on with you and let them know how you're feeling every day. Because, just to let them into your world is a big part.
Well, I like to call it checking in.
Yeah, you're in this together.
Because you could, be busy and with work, with the kids, and you don't even ask how your partner's doing today.
Yeah, you gotta include them, yeah. Let them know that they're there.
Right. Something else I feel, making someone feel important. What are some ways that you could make your partner feel important?
Right. That's a good one. That's a good point because I know, you'll have, a card and I'm not even expecting it and I'm like, wow, that's so nice of you.
Same here. I like that when you do that for me, too. And when I start feeling like a distance from you, or I have to say that it's really reflecting on me. Like if you come home from work and I'm like, oh, what's wrong? Is everything okay? Because I feel a distance.
Yeah.
Normally that means there's something wrong with me. I'm distancing myself for a reason.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that does happen.
That happens a lot
Yeah.
with us. So about reflecting, not putting your feelings on your partner's feelings.
So basically, when you say, Richard, do you want to talk about something? It's you that really wants to talk about
probably.
something. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that opening line. I think that being on the same page with our finances,
With a lot of things.
budgeting, that's a tough one for us.
A lot of people get into relationships and don't really realize that you have a lot of different things that you believe in, like faith, children. Do you want children? How do you discipline your children? Things like that. And they get into a relationship and then a year down the road and you're like, you don't want children?
Oh, yeah. I've heard that a lot.
Yeah, it's just not fair to not let someone know.
When would you say that those questions should be asked? Like on the first date, on the second date?
No, not the first date.
We have been out of the dating scene for over 22 years.
Yeah, but we've seen enough relationships where I think we know. Plus you just can look at people and say, okay, they're a good couple. And I think I can look at people too, and you just see the love or you don't see it.
Right, so my question is, when do you start talking about that? When do you ask someone, what their goals are, what they want out of a relationship? The first date wouldn't be...
No, not the first date, no. I think, let's see, probably fifth date? Yeah, that's a legitimate question after a fifth date. After the fifth date, you've gotten past all the butterflies of going out with each other. You've kind of gotten comfortable.
So now you can really sink in and ask the deeper questions without feeling like maybe they'll possibly run away.
I guess I wouldn't go with do you want children question on the fifth date. Maybe that's...
But what if that's something that's important to you?
Yeah,
I would ask probably on the first date.
On the first date?
Maybe.
No way. I know if you asked me on the first date, do you want children? I don't think I would have. Well, maybe not because I really liked you. So I think that I probably would have been that would have brought up a red flag in my head. Like, well, okay, is she trying to get pregnant right now or something?
Okay, good point.
So I would say 3 months is you're getting comfortable. Maybe after, between 3 months, 4 months.
That's when you should ask?
4 to 5 months, I would say.
I disagree. Please, someone write in. Email me, spiritualvisionary@yahoo.com, when you think that that should be brought up. All
right. So mine is 4 to 5 months. Yours is first date.
I don't know. I would say second or third.
I think I'm winning. that one.
Okay, we'll see.
Well, I definitely don't think that you're going to be asking those questions, especially that one. Maybe easier questions like your favorite color,
favorite food.
Sports team. Mm-hmm. Those are first date questions.
Okay.
Not, okay, what's your favorite color? Oh, you like the Yankees? Do you want children?
Okay, I wouldn't bring it up like that, but I see what you're saying. So now, for people who are in a relationship that they feel disconnected. How do you gain that back? How would you gain back if you're not feeling your spouse is being, or partner is being romantic enough?
One way I would say, and we do this ourselves, is we make sure if we start feeling that little disconnect, we have a date night.
Yep.
So, we make sure that we are gonna go out, do, whether it be romantic or just that, we're gonna definitely make sure we spend some alone time with no one around, just me and you, and
Doing the fun things that we like.
you're right.
I always like to also on our date nights is bring back memories of like our first date. I always talk about what attracted me to you. Those little, maybe bring a picture book with you, an album. Why are you looking at me? It's funny.
No,
like
that's
to talk
fine.
about that.
You do, and you like to play the little what if game. So, other problems that people have besides, not spending enough time, money's a big problem for people.
Right, and we talked about a little bit, being on the same page of budgeting.
Right. Budgeting is a good way to alleviate some of the stress of having money problems. So if you've planned out when you want to spend your money, how you want to spend it, it takes a little of the stress, the pressure off of money problems. Definitely budgeting.
I have a question.
What?
Do you think that when you're in a relationship, you should have separate bank accounts?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. But that's my personal opinion. I think that if you're in a relationship that you trust the person, that you should be able to put all your money together into one account. But some people have it so they have separate. I don't see anything wrong with it, but just not just for me.
Like it.
Right.
Do you have any monies I don't know about?
No, I don't have any money. No. Me keep money from you? Whatever. Yeah, okay. You know right when my bonus is coming. Down to the week. You just the other day you were like, isn't your bonus going to be coming up pretty soon? Yeah.
That's true. What about being on the same page if you have kids? I think that's important.
Oh.
As far as punishments, being involved with them, with their schooling. The biggest thing that I never wanted to do when our kids are grown now, but the biggest thing that I never wanted to do was argue in front of them, and I did. I'd get heated or so one way that we would fix that, remember we used to go take a ride?
Mm-hmm, in the car.
Then we'd wait for them, to go sleep, or Steven was 8 years older than Alexis, so he'd be home with her or something, and
right.
We'd just either go out into the car, into the parking lot, or in the driveway.
Yeah, and just
that's
talk
where
it
we'd
out.
talk it out. Yeah, about, disciplining the kids. I always felt like Richard was harder on the kids than me, but probably everybody is that way, but learning how to, not, what am I trying to say? Like if the kids were doing something wrong and I reprimanded them, Richard not saying, "Oh, Jackie, don't say that," in front of the kids. We wait till they went to bed.
Right, and then
we
talked
discuss
about it. Yeah.
That was a big thing because I never wanted to see them seeing us that we weren't on the same page when it came to, that we stuck together. That's important.
Yeah, that's seeing unity in your parents and having the same beliefs is a big thing to the kids. They see that unity. It's a good thing.
I also sometimes wanted to see them, that we had healthy disagreements.
Yeah, that's
Because
okay.
it's natural and normal. I know that some people try to
Arguing.
hide the whole thing, and they say, "Oh, I grew up and my parents never argued, and I'm in a relationship that we argue."
Yeah, there's something wrong with the relationship if you don't argue. Yeah.
Arguing is healthy and natural, and I feel after a good argument, there's growth there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you're having problems and it really gets bad, I think counseling is definitely something that people should look into. Going to see someone and talking out your problems just so you get a third person in there, third party to, feel both sides and then help each other, each one out.
Yeah, I remember when we went to couples counseling,
Yep.
and one of the things that I never really knew about Richard, and I learned in couples counseling, and this is something that was so simple and such an easy fix, that he would get home from work and I'd be home with the kids all day, and as soon as he stepped into the door, I was like, "Oh, so Steven did this today, Alexis did this today, and this is where we went, and blah, 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 blah," and just on and on and on and on and on. And he kind of would look at me like kind of checked out a little bit, like, whoa, like I was jumping on top of him. And I couldn't understand, I was so happy to see him and so excited excited, and I still get excited, but I was so happy to see you that I didn't know that you needed that 15 minutes of coming home from work, having that reflection time, doing what you need to do.
Yeah, downtime after work.
Yeah, and it came out in therapy, and I was like, whoa, I didn't know that. I didn't know that you didn't like me as soon as you went and got, into the house. Oh, Stephen, let's do this. I didn't know that. So once I started learning to do that, it was hard at first, and I would be like, okay, what can I do to keep myself busy when Richard gets in the door? He loved being greeted. Hi, how are you? Give him a kiss, and greeted by the kids. After that is when you wanted your downtime a little bit to settle down. You're just getting out of work, and I would do things like, that's when I would start my dinner, so I knew I'd already be in the kitchen. I'd get on the phone with my mother. That was like a normal thing that I would do around the time you got home. The kids would be doing their homework, so I made sure that I gave you that time.
Yeah.
It felt so much better after just one little thing that we've changed.
And it helped out a lot.
So much.
Yeah.
So I feel for me, counseling really helped me discover more who you were, without, and maybe some things you didn't even know, that you didn't like or that you liked.
Right. I mean, I think another thing that came out in counseling that we figured out was that we kind of swept problems under the rug, which is not a good thing. So, the counselor was basically telling us that you need to talk about these things, get them out in the open. It might be hard talking about it at that point in time, but if you sweep it under the rug and bury it, it's just worse by the time you do eventually talk about it. So.
Right, because what would happen, I know with me, I'd be bothered by something, not talk about it, bothered by something, not talk about it, and then there was one little thing that you did, and then I just was like, and you do this, and you do that, and you do that, and you're like, wait a second, that was a month ago.
Yeah.
What are you holding on to that for? So that was another big one to our relationship of growing.
Right, so she said communication is probably one of the biggest things that you need to have in a relationship. You need to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. So.
And I didn't really even know when she said, do you guys communicate? Yeah, we talk every day, but not now I understand what is communication.
What did we talk about?
Right,
yeah.
Talking about the things that, bother us or, things that we need more of. We just had our 20th anniversary of being together, and I wrote in your anniversary card, thank you for loving all the women in your life. And you knew that meant loving all of me in the women that I've changed into through the years, because as a woman we change. So that I was thinking about that, when we have kids and how that's changed me. When I started working, adding more to my schedule, how that changed me. And just growing, and you loved everyone and you were patient.
Thank you. Thank you for the good time. So hopefully that helps everybody, and little glimpse into our world and what's helped us. So hopefully it helps everybody else.
And another big thing is kiss goodnight. A kiss in the morning and a kiss goodnight. That's something that I don't ever want to miss.
Try not to go to bed mad.
Right, that's another big
at each
one.
other. Try not to go to bed mad at each other. Definitely.
So if you have any questions for us, feel free to email spiritualvisionary@yahoo.com, whether it's for Richard. Richard's email address is redman06040@yahoo.com. And we'll be talking again soon. Remember, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Have a blessed week.